Welcome in, everybody, to another MLS Monday by Scarves and Spikes. I've been out of the game for a minute. So I can't even get my intro right.
I was about to say, what'd you say it like that?
I'm so hyped up about this Waffle House episode that I'm like, I'm like ready to go to that one. You know what else happened, by the way?
What else happened?
Okay. Show me your hands.
What you got? What happened?
Show me your hands.
What happened? What are we doing here?
Are you arresting me?
One hand.
I thought you were wearing a coffee.
Okay.
More.
All right, now I know, right? Now stick your pinky out on the other hand. This is some crap from TikTok. All right. Now can you put your thumb down and your pinky and raise the other one?
Can you put your thumb down and pinky and raise the other one? I don't
like it.
I don't know.
It makes you feel weird, doesn't it?
We're gonna. I think I got it.
Why did you do this to me?
My
wife did this to me literally moments before we went live, and it screwed my brain up. So,
okay.
There we
like
go.
Walking and chewing gun at the same time, I guess.
Just shared it with everyone in the chat right there.
Yeah. All right. So we've started off great. Decision day is officially in the books. We are going to be joined in a little bit by Cheyenne. Between Clean Sheets is the name that she goes by on various social media. But we have the playoffs. The playoffs are officially here.
Playoffs?
The MLS Cup Playoffs.
Yes, we do. And we have wildcard matches coming up on Wednesday. Chicago Fire against Orlando City first, and then Portland Timbers versus Real Salt Lake. So we'll definitely talk about that. And then on Friday, playoffs proper began. So intriguing matchups, gentlemen. I was just looking at it before the show started. Hellas Real Derby, of course, the 2-7 matchup. Charlotte, New York City, that should be a good one. Miami played in Nashville on decision day. They'll be meeting again in the playoffs. And then, of course, Philly playing whoever wins between Chicago and Orlando. And then in the West, LAFC, Austin. I think LAFC might get in on that one. Minnesota, Seattle, that might be a sleeper of a good one. We'll see what becomes of that. And then Vancouver, Dallas sneaking in on decision day. And we'll talk about that, just talk about just sort of the key storylines from decision day and set up the wildcard matches here in a little bit as we wait for Cheyenne, and Cheyenne will be in here shortly, I think. But I gotta talk about something real quick.
This whole is this a Sydney rant?
No, not really. This whole you guys know this whole Chris Armas, Matt Pollard brouhaha that's been going on. Good on Chris for apologizing. Chris Armas for apologizing after the Rapids failed to get to the playoffs. I think that Chris Armas kind of out of line. I mean, he should have not taken it in that way. Good thing he apologized, though. I'm glad he did that. But yeah, I just want to hit on that. I mean, don't be soft-skinned if you're a journalist. I mean, if you're if you're a coach,
either.
Either. But in this case, don't be soft-skinned if you're a coach.
Yeah,
you know.
And that's the thing. Like Chris, he's in the wrong for what he did initially, but massive credit to him. You know, let the praise be as loud as the criticism.
Yeah.
Massive credit for coming back and apologizing. And that's the thing, man. Matt's question was very, very basic. You know, I mean, and Chris said in his reply that he was essentially just the part about not making the playoffs just kind of hit him.
Yeah,
it hit him the wrong way, and I get that. It's emotional. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, definitely go check it out. If you type in Chris Armas on pretty much Google or Twitter /X, like anywhere, you'll see it. It was post-match press conference on decision day, and he got a little snippy with Matt Pollard when a question was asked from the Burgundy Wave. Great guys out there covering them, but it was just it was not cool.
Calm down. So I know we got to talk a lot. We got a lot to talk about, I should say, but we have Cheyenne joining us from Between Clean Sheets. I'm going to try to get her in there. I think she was having some technical difficulties. Can you hear us? Can you see us? I guess not. We'll
see
this
AWS
work. This AWS outage is a pain. We're going to try to get her in here shortly, but she just said she'll keep trying. Don't get her in yet. So we'll wait to see if she can get things sorted out on her end and then bring her in. But yeah, if you're a coach, you got to know what the territory is when it comes to interacting with reporters, and you got to give them, don't be a jerk to them. If they're there to ask questions, I mean, don't say, hey, you're negative and all that. That's their job. Their job is not to blow smoke up your what. They're there to be fair. They're there to ask tough questions when need be. And it was disappointing to see Chris Armas hit out like that. I'm glad that he called Matt and apologized, and sounds like all is good. But down the road, I hope that doesn't come up again, not just in Colorado, but really anywhere. So that disappointed me.
Yeah, I mean, look, local media like the Burgundy Wave, for teams to have that kind of coverage is it's a privilege. It's very special, and that is a connection that you definitely don't want to maybe erode with some of these interactions, even if they're accidental. And look, with Chris Armas, I totally understand the position that he's in. It's a tough season, and it came down to the wire, really, whether Colorado would get into the play-in game or not. So yeah, I understand the pain and the emotions of that, but also, speaking as a journalist and a member of the media who has had to follow, cover a team whose season was worse than Colorado's. It's not easier for us. It's not like we enjoy having to ask the tough questions or having to have those awkward moments. If it were up to us, we would rather the team be better. We would rather things end better. And like with the situation with Ronnie Dyla, for example, from the Atlanta perspective, I would have much rather this been a playoff season and Ronnie Dyla, had led this team through that and him potentially still be here. But the reality is that's not the case. This is a sport. It's a business. And, stuff like this happens. And as members of the media, we are kind of obligated to cover these events and we look forward to better times, and I'm sure that Chris Armas will be looking forward to that in the Burgundy Wave as well.
Absolutely. Well, I mentioned that Cheyenne is going to be joining us, and I think she had a few technical difficulties, but I thought she has given us the thumbs up, and we're going to let her in here right now. Cheyenne,
let me in. I'm coming to you from my van, and I have AT&T, which is, oh my gosh, the worst cell phone service literally everywhere. It is everywhere, but it's bad everywhere. And I had prepped to be in a good spot, and then, as you can tell, a storm hit, and now I'm on my phone. So
all good.
I do want to chime in and say something really quick about this Burgundy Wave situation. And I already told Matt this to his face, as we all talk on the internet. We hardly ever see each other in person. That was literally the best thing that could have happened to him. I'm in like I'm a creator, like a group chat. I think some of
you
AT&T might have
AT&T.
This is a great ad for AT&T, right? Or for any of their competitors.
I think we got it back. We're gonna try her again.
Great. Right. Yeah, no. Okay. I am being silenced. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Silenced by AT&T.
Right.
Truly. So my issue here is, yes, there's very, very few people covering teams, especially that have gone on these stretches of playing really horribly. I came here to this chat tonight with my sleeves rolled up, ready to be like, suck it up, Atlanta. You're having a bad year. Get in line. Chicago made it to the playoffs for the first time in almost 15 years. Red Bull, them to also be quiet. You missed the playoff first time in over a decade. Boo-hoo. I have given tens of thousands of dollars to DC United. I have never personally seen them play a playoff game at home, and I have was a season ticket holder since 2014. So Someone messaged me over the weekend, said, "Oh, I'm surprised you weren't at the DC United Atlanta United game," which I know was tongue in cheek, but I was like, I used to go from 2017 to 2020, and then 2020 to like 2023. I went to every away game the DC played at Atlanta because it was such a fun environment, even though DC United was whatever. But back to that, there's so few people covering these teams that are just like long-term mediocre at best, especially, God bless, Colorado Rapids used DP money on Tim Howard that one year, and that was supposed to be like their exciting spend. Matt is critical in the way that everyone should be, but if that happened to me, I would have the biggest grin on my face. I would be like, oh, he reads my work. Somebody pays attention to what I'm doing. And I'm looking through I know we have opinions on Twitter and X, etc., but I'm looking through those tweets. The tweets where he spoke out about how he was treated by Chris in that exchange have done better than I think most of the tweets he's had all year. So getting more eyes on your stuff like that and like having a villain and creating drama where there hasn't previously been. I know I obviously have a gripe because I've spent thousands of dollars of my own money supporting a team and not really getting much from it. Like I don't have any friendships that linger. I don't really even like any of the merch I still hold on to. They never really wanted to do content with me. I'm a small inconsistent creator though, so I know that's partly me, but like he has a place in the press box every single week and he gets access, which a lot of people aren't getting right now. And he gets to go cover this team. And a lot of his tweets were like, I'm a fan. I care about the team. I'm like, then that's where this like outrage is coming from, because in any other capacity, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, it's on. Now I have a new enemy. It's Chris Armas. So that's my long diatribe. But welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. So I was going to say real quick, I think you were at the Revs Fire match this weekend, right? On Saturday?
I was. And it was not revolutionary and not fire.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. But
no, that's a lie. It was like 2-2. It was good.
Yeah. But no, I was going to say, like, markets like Boston, markets like New York, oftentimes those independent blogs like Burgundy Wave, The Blazing Musket, Hudson River Blue are the only sources of consistent soccer content. And if you're a team in those cities, you don't get consistent content from like the bigger outlets, the bigger TV stations, newspapers, all that. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, right? I mean, they're giving you content that other people don't give you. So, that's why it's a little bit disappointing. I don't know if that's the case in Denver. I'm not too familiar with that media market. I think they do a good job covering it from what I've seen. But yeah, didn't sit well with me. I'm sure everybody else here. But yeah, it's been disappointing. I'm glad they're on good terms, though, at least.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if someone asked me about the fate of my career after just missing the playoffs by minutes, and I am sitting like having coached that thing, and I'm here talking about someone who covered team from the outside, as close as Matt feels like he's been, as close as we all feel like we are. There's some times where I've got a lot of friends across the league. In all the travels I've done, a reminder to y'all, but for anyone watching that doesn't know this, I live in a 90s Japanese imported van, and I have slept in the parking lots of, oh my gosh, I slept in the parking lot in Commerce City, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. I feel like some of the stuff I hear after the fact, or some of the stuff I'm hearing that's going on with some of these teams, I'm like, oh, we have no idea. We have no idea. So I would have reacted the same exact way. Was it professional? No. Yeah, I'm glad they made up. But at the same time, I'm like, you would have been a nothing conversation in any other capacity after decision day. Everyone would have moved on to what I'm sure we're about to talk about, which is the playoffs. But you got something to write about, and you got to take your principled stand, and you got to kind of like be the man of the moment and have your coverage spotlighted in a way that automatically puts you in the right. For me, I'm like, I'll take. Maybe it's just that I love the drama. I want the drama.
No such thing as bad, right?
I know. But like some of the messages in our like fan media group chat, I was like, you guys, no one stabbed him. We'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna happen to Chris Armas? He might get fired, and then Matt will still be there. Matt's always gonna be there. Matt's been there long before Chris Armas even got there. So, but I totally get it. Yeah. I'm fine to die on this hill alone. I will.
No, I understand. I mean, some of these interactions with coaches, especially coaches who are having not great seasons, like that causes some. I mean, go look at Caleb Porter and the multiple interactions he had with media, and how many times we've talked about, oh, he snapped at a reporter, and what was that one time? I think it was this season, including that. He said like, oh, the 2021 team actually wasn't that good or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, you sure you should be saying that, dude? Like, I think Caleb Porter was the king of those moments.
Say
but
it. Yeah.
Those are just some memorable things. And when people post those videos, right? Like you're like, oh, you're locked in, and yeah, that creates engagement. So for sure, I think for content creators like us, like that does mean significant engagement, and it's definitely something to look at for sure.
Right. Yeah, but I'm not interacting with the guys that way. I will give a little bit of a story for Caleb Porter specifically. I went to a game earlier in the summer where they lost, and I won't name the player, but I did have an opportunity through a friend to go to like the friends and family event afterwards, and there was a player who had missed a pretty clear shot on goal. And Caleb came up behind him. He had friends that had tickets in the suite that were sitting around him, and I'm just sitting there with them because we were all in the same suite together. Caleb comes and puts his hands on the guy's shoulder in that like really like hard display of like masculinity. Like, ooh, Caleb's a strong guy. And he emasculated him right on the spot in front of his 2 or 3 friends and me. And the guy whose hands he's got on cannot see his eyes, but they looked like shark eyes. And I was like, oh, this is a weird display right here. Like, yeah, he missed the goal. Of course, he wishes he would have made it, but it got to the point where his friends that had come to see him got kind of tense, and there's a bit of a language barrier too. So it was like this, are you trying to say something about my guy who we came here to see and we're having a good time? Are you trying to ruin this moment right here? And I just, I cut the tension. I was like, well, I didn't score a goal either tonight. So I literally said, are you going to manhandle me? And Caleb goes, ha ha, you all enjoy your night.
Dang.
How you answer that?
Not gonna lie, that's pretty badass.
Because it was awkward. I was like, okay.
How many goals did you score, Caleb?
And then he ran out onto the field and kicked a ball into the net. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah, because the friends and family event is like in that suite or that like club space that's field level, and it sits right behind one of the goals, and it's fun. It's like that LAFC vibe where everyone's kids come out and hang out, and everyone's just enjoying themselves with their family and with the people who came to see them. So to have Caleb Porter do that, I was like, ooh. And I immediately, this is so awful, I'm going to say it anyway. My immediate thought was like, what is his relationship like with his father? And then I Googled Caleb Porter, and there was an article written back for when he was in Portland. And like the very first sentence was like, Caleb's dad wasn't around much growing up, but he taught him one very important lesson. And I was like, oh, geez. Okay. That explains it.
What a way to start it.
And then I felt bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what happens. If the interaction that Chris had with Matt factors into this, like, do we keep him on or keep him not? Is his mood turning sour? Then yeah, sure. But like, Matt's going to be there. Matt's going to be there no matter what. No one's firing Matt. So.
Yeah.
So I got to ask before we dive into the playoff conversation, because it's been in the chat, Brett saying the van's pretty sick. As somebody who, my wife and my family, we were working on converting a bus into a schoolie.
No way.
Yeah. So as somebody who's kind of been not that far, I mean, you're actually staying in it full time.
Yes.
Just tell us, I guess, a little bit about it. I know you said it was a Japanese import, but like, tell us a little bit about it. And I guess what's been your favorite kind of bit of travel and place that you've been?
So it is a 1994 Toyota Hiace. It's a pretty standard van, very popular in Japan, but for whatever reason, it's not something that is sold here, only imported. And I picked it because I have a buddy who imports vehicles. His handle is Toshi Yoda's, by the way. He's currently on a big, like, Hilux kick. So if you're looking to do any off-roading, please let me connect you. He's great. But it takes diesel. I got a two-wheel front wheel drive to be more economical, and it had about 70,000 miles on it when I got it. And all in, like build, purchase at auction, import, and build was under 10K. And as you guys know, I was living in DC for like a decade, super burnt out. Like it felt like it was a life or death situation mentally. And for me, I was not smart about a lot of the choices I made in this. I do still feel like I'm building my home, even though I've been in it for like a year and a half. But I did, yeah, right. Well, I did the smart thing and didn't buy like a Sprinter, didn't buy something that was such an financial undertaking that it would be just as hard to like walk away from it. So I started on the West Coast. I picked it up in Tacoma, Washington last April. And I ended up spending, at that point, I probably still had 7 stadiums, MLS stadiums left on the list. And several of them were on the West Coast, Vancouver, Seattle, actually no West Coast, but they were big ones that I just hadn't gotten to. So Vancouver, hands down, the best city that I've spent time in. It was gorgeous. At the time, I felt like the Whitecaps were not yet on the up and up, but I had caught the game where Miami was coming to play, and they had obviously like marketed it big when they got their schedule out over the off season. And of course, like Busquets, Suarez, Messi didn't even travel. So I'm crossing the border, and this Canadian woman at the border was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm going to see some soccer." I saw the Canadian Premier League Vancouver team as well. And she goes, "Oh, I heard Messi wasn't coming." Like the woman at the border had heard the news. She had no idea what the name of the Whitecaps were. She had no idea what team Messi was playing on. She's like, "I just heard he wasn't coming." So I was like, "Well, I'm not turning around." I would have gone if it was like Vancouver and Houston, ma'am. I'm going in anyway. But yeah, so that is some of the craziest experiences I've had. I am strictly urban and street camping. So I am parked in residential areas, kind of on the cusp between residential and commercial, parked outside of like apartment buildings, trying to be really like, this is actually quite conspicuous, having the Ring camera on, having my like twinkle lights on, whatever. But I've slept at several stadiums. The other night, I just decided to stay in the media lot for the Rhode Island FC game I had gone to, and then woke up the next morning and opened the door, made some breakfast. Nice. It's things like that have been really, really great. Like sitting in my home and changing into my PJs and brushing my teeth while everyone else is waiting out the traffic, and seeing all the people that kind of linger and tailgate after games, or people getting really interested in what it is I've built and bring their services. I've met people on bike rides who have had me over for dinner. I met a woman in Burlington a couple of months ago who was asking me about the van, and then I said, "Oh, it only takes cassette tapes." And she goes, "Oh, we just moved here and are trying to get rid of a ton of our stuff. Please take all of our tapes." And so
nice.
I had like 40 cassette tapes I was going through just listening to. It was how I discovered the band Wang Chung.
Everybody has some tonight.
Yeah.
Signature song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ask Henry if he knows what a cassette tape is.
Haha, joke's on you. I do know what it is, even though I am Gen Z.
Yeah, that, you know what? It's coming back. I actually have Lady Gaga's latest album on cassette because I think that they're trying to generate revenue any way they can, and at the end of the day, it's just plastic. So we love our plastic. But yeah, I'm trying to think if anything else comes to me. I know I'm just yapping your ear off, but it is a lonely existence. It's just me, and a lot of it has been a huge adjustment because I am going through an existential crisis. That's what this whole thing is about. I haven't been super heavy on the content creating side as much as I've been on like the mental health redemption arc. But I did apply for that Copa 90 best job in the world position over the summer and was selected as one of the finalists. And the project that I'm working on is very it'll be a great symbol of the journey that I'm on, which is kind of pivoting away from Major League Soccer. The whole league is on my nerves right now. I'm ready for this Miami era to be over. But while I have done that, I am seeing a lot more games in person. I'm watching a lot less on TV, but I'm also going to as many games as possible, which means I'm catching a lot of lower division teams, literally every level of USL, all of these women's teams that are popping up. I've gone and seen a ton of college games. Last year, I caught the Big 12 women's soccer final in Kansas City, and KU, which had not been previously ranked, ended up winning it all. And it was like me and everyone's parents, and that was it. We're just standing around like, oh my gosh, they won! Like me and 20 people.
That's at the current
which was
stadium,
amazing.
Right? CPKC.
Oh yeah, have you guys been to that by chance?
No, it looks nice though.
You've gotta. It's so, man, it's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah.
It's the perfect size. I would like to obviously see women's soccer stadiums get bigger in the future, but I think that they started with the perfect size.
Yeah, looks great from the pictures that I've seen. We'll have to get there at some point if I remember in the KC area. I was going to ask you. You mentioned Rhode Island FC, of course. They have ties to Atlanta United. Of course, Michael Parkhurst is a part owner of RISC.
Yes.
As I'm sure you knew. So.
Yeah, I love. There's a lot of examples of that. You've got Tyler Adams and Westchester United, Timothy Weah, investor in Brooklyn FC, I think. Parkhurst, Rhode Island. I really like that people are starting to participate in that way. Because I want to say maybe 5-10 years ago, for some of these MLS guys just to get into real estate and start selling homes to the guys that they used to play with. So the fact that they're generating enough revenue to go back to their hometown and like establish some sort of entrepreneurial route, because you'll notice this about USL right now. It'll probably always be this way. Everyone's investing in or creating teams like this as a legacy project. Like, I'm from XYZ town and I want to build something that's uniquely me because I was a professional player, and this is how I'll just come back to the place I grew up in. None of these guys had like real adulthoods either, especially MLS. You guys know these seasons go on for freaking ever. So they live their lives as adults in the in-between, and then they all get married in December because it's the only time they have to get married. So,
and then spend more time with their teammates than they do their family.
Yeah, and some of these guys are a real piece of work. There have been a couple times where I've like gone. I'm sitting on some footage of interviews I've done where I felt like I brought every little bit of research to the table, and I was talking to someone whose lights were on, but nobody was home. And then I go and watch them at the game that Saturday. I'm like, that's what you're good at. I should have never asked you a question. I should have just held the phone like this and been like, look at what he's doing over there. So, yeah.
You're not willing to name names,
great,
are you?
Though.
No, I'm just kidding.
Once you stop pressing record, I could dish on some of the weirdest stuff. I've actually had one of the weirdest years. I am a woman of integrity. There are some stories that I will take to my grave, but I want you to know.
Yeah.
If I were a man, I think the stories would be 10 times more insane. I'm not invited everywhere because I'm a single woman in my 30s, so it's like it's just weird. And a lot of these guys are married too, so I think even just engaging with a woman normally is like, well, that's not my girlfriend. And I want to be taken seriously, but sometimes I'm in conversations where I'm like, what? Or in situations where I'm like, how am I here? How am I here right now at this hour? Like, what is happening? So, yeah, I've got good stories.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And, I'd love to hear him maybe at some point.
Wait,
I know
Tommy.
You're limited to share what you you can share what you can't share. So
Right. I also am seeing this comment that says, I slept in my Honda Civic one night and couldn't walk for a week. You know what? Okay, let me say something. I want to pat myself on the back because living in a van is really hard, actually. Living in I'm in 5 feet wide by 10 feet long of living space. I cannot stand up. I've built it out to be exactly what I need it to be, but I can't really hang out in here. Like over the summer during that heat wave in New York, I was sleeping, I think the low was like 89 degrees.
Oh wow.
And I was sleeping in here. And I left my whole life behind. I've got my little partnership with Continental Tire and I do some part-time admin work for like a criminal justice nonprofit. I can't be buying hotels. So I was just suffering through it. But the one thing I'll pat myself on the back for is I am like crawling around, bending down on my knees in weird places, crawling over my console when I'm too afraid to open the door and walk around to get in at night. And my body is handling it so well.
Nice.
I'm actually feeling so great.
Yeah.
I feel so superior because sometimes people are like, "Oh, my knees." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I feel so good." If I felt that way, I would not be able to do this at all. So
Yeah.
It's okay. Tommy's hit the age, and I can say this because he this is Tommy, like our co-host Tommy.
Right.
He has hit the age where he is falling apart as a whole.
Well, me too. Me too.
I get it. I'm getting there too.
Man.
Like,
Henry still has a few years
talk
ahead
about
of him.
it.
So.
Yeah, let's scare
No,
him.
let me know what's coming.
Yeah, let's scare him about his future.
Do all the stretches now. It'll help you out, I promise.
Exactly.
Yes, please. That is actually the one thing that I want to scream from the rooftops because I'll go and play pickup or like meet up with people and play, and watching people not warm up at all or stretch at all. You need to be able to touch your toes. Yoga, great. You truly like you should be able to get out of a chair without using your arms. You should be able to reach. I'm sitting forward. I should be able to do this without having to move my body. Very important. That's okay. That's my last thing. And I'm gonna shut up. I want to hear how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? Did any of you guys go to the game on Saturday?
All three of us.
All three of us went, and obviously Brad Guzan retiring, which was obviously emotional experience for fans. But I think there's a little sense of relief that the season was over. Just how lousy it's been. Of course, Dyla getting fired the next day, which pretty much everybody saw coming. And maybe there's some talk about Tata coming back to Atlanta United, which some are for, some are against because they're like, no, you can't go back to the past, look toward the future. So I can see sort of both sides of it. But I feel like we were kind of joking around, Henry and I, it can't get any worse. Well, it can because we were talking about DC and they finished with the wooden spoon, but I mean, it can't get much worse for Atlanta United. I mean, has to go up from here, right?
It can
and for
get
DC
worse.
too. And for DC too. Well, yeah, it can, but
you guys have an owner who's willing to spend money.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not spending it the right way or on the right things. I know my like very Atlanta heavy fantasy league group chat has been for years was just desperate for Carlos Bocanegra to be fired. That's where things will be really bad if they stop spending money, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about Brad Guzan. I was doing a piece for him for Scarves and Spikes, and Randy Lerner used to own Aston Villa. I believe he owns the Browns. No, not the Browns, but he used to own, I forget which NFL team, and he just lost interest. The team was making a loss every year. He ended up selling it. But hopefully Atlanta United, I don't think Atlanta United will get to that point. Of course, Arthur Blank, near the end of his life, I feel so. Josh Blank's son is sort of the owner waiting, so to speak. I hope that he has the same level of investment, level of interest in Atlanta United. He kind of got his dad into soccer, I think, so I think he will. But yeah, we're starting to think a little about when Arthur Blank passes, what level of involvement Josh Blank will have in the team. I mean, it's not been a huge conversation, but I'm sure as the years go on, he's not getting any younger. That conversation will grow, certainly.
Yeah, that's a good point. How much money were they paying Brad Guzan? How much money does that free up?
It's a lot.
Really?
He was on a TAM contract. I know that. I just don't know the exact number.
Was it Tim? I don't remember it being Tim.
Well, let's look it up. He
had taken a pay cut a couple of years ago too.
Yeah, so if not TAM, then below it. So a little below it. 312,500. So yeah, not even close to TAM.
Not close to TAM,
yeah. But
interesting.
That's still a decent contract for number one.
Yeah. I'm taking a screenshot of the comments. I'm gonna tell Leon that someone said something nice about him. Pardon me.
Nice.
Hello? No, wait. I locked my screen.
We can hear you.
I turned so
if we got you, you can't go in and out, but I think she'll be back.
Totally
I think we got her. Yeah.
So bad.
I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the game I think was competitive in the way that it could be for two bottom of the barrel teams. It just was really sad to look up into the stands and see that there was nobody there. I think that's probably the biggest bummer. Because me, like going to all of these stadiums and watching all of these teams, I don't really care who wins at the end of the day. I'm mostly just I need a phrase, but I keep using this phrase. I'm just a floozy for a good time at a Major League Soccer game. And so if I were to show up having seen the way Atlanta United games have been, if I were to show up and it were to be like a 10th of that, I would just be really bummed out, which is I know what you guys are experiencing. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the fate. St. Louis is having their sophomore slump. I watched San Diego clinch in the West, and I was like, oh, can't wait to see how far they fall next year.
Yeah.
It stinks. I mean, I like the parody, but LA Galaxy, we haven't even mentioned. Holy mackerel. But yeah, it does stink also to just see that much money spent and it just not click. So.
No. Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you're kind of talking about San Diego. Congrats to them, of course, for clinching the top seed in the Western Conference with that 4-0 win over the Timbers. Vancouver losing to Dallas. Vancouver, I was watching that match. Henry, I know you were. Tyler, I don't know if you were. And Cheyenne, I don't know if you were. But Vancouver were down to 10 men. Laborda got sent off, I think, in around the 14th minute or so. And it was 2-1 Dallas, and Vancouver needed the goal to level and ultimately clinch the top seed. They were just all over Dallas in the latter stages. I'm watching it on MLS 360, and Vancouver just came so close to scoring all throughout that match. And, that's just sort of the magic of decision day, right? You're watching as a neutral. Your team is nowhere near the playoffs this season, but you're watching San Diego, you're watching Vancouver, RSL drawing St. Louis, Quakes and Rapids being knocked out as a result. But yeah, that's just the magic of decision. I know there's a little bit more drama in the West and in the East, but that's just the best part about MLS, right? That last day to see those races kind of materialize and those seeds kind of being settled, and often some of them at the last minute, though.
Yeah, I think it would feel way more exciting if the playoff season were shortened too. I think that that excitement would carry over. They're like, oh, I don't know, minute by minute, what's going to happen. But then I'm looking down the barrel at the schedule of like best of 3. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to tune in. I'm going to wait. Maybe I missed that first game and I'll just tune in when someone tells me that something might be on the line. I hate that though. I really.
Yeah, I mean, it's received its fair share of criticisms. I think definitely when you get to the one-off games, it's like, okay, the stakes are 100, right? Because it's win or go home. And then, yeah, the 3-game series, it's like, I don't know about y'all, but I remember when Atlanta was in that 3-game series with Miami, I had predicted like, okay, they're probably going to drop the first game because they're doing this off like 4 days rest after going to Montreal. So I'm like, okay, to drop the first game, it's not a big deal because then they come to Atlanta, it'll be fine, whatever. And then I think at that point, right, once you're facing elimination, obviously the stakes are higher, but I think it was also different because it's it's such a what do you call it, a mismatch in theory, right? It was a record-setting team against a team that barely scraped in on decision day. Which, by the way, that's another thing that Sydney, you mentioned how you know, in the West it came to, well, Dallas kind of just holding on to a win against this Vancouver side. And I think there's an interesting phenomenon when it's like, you know, life or death. It's almost like adrenaline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where like these teams are like, oh gosh, we need to hang on. You know, we need to see it through. And they're just like, it's like a supernatural, like a will to not concede a goal. You know what I'm saying? And I think Atlanta had that against Orlando last year on decision day, where they knew they needed it.
I literally was at the last game of Dax McCarty's career. I'm just remembering this. Okay, two things. I think Brad Guzan should have retired after that. He should have known when to go.
Yeah.
I mean, how was he supposed to know how the season was going to go?
I kind of agree.
Right. But that's a hindsight thought. But my other thing, now that I'm remembering, I was up in the corner down in Orlando and saw Dax McCarty's entire family, because he's from Winter Park.
Yeah.
His and by the way, every member of his family looks exactly like him. So you're like, a group of people with way more freckles than the average person. That's Dax McCarty's family. And his wife was holding their son in her arms as they were walking out. And I had been taking a video just of them coming out on the fields before the anthem, whatever, and realized that it was happening. And I was like, oh, wait, I've got them in the corner of this video. And she and him are both like waving to Dax, and Dax is waving back. And so after all that went down, I went up to her and I was like, hey, I got you in this video I was already taking. I feel like you have to have this video. Can I send it to you? And she gave me her and I texted it to her. And in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, I should leverage this to like try to get an interview. And then after that game, with how kind of like exhausting it was, and just realizing that he himself was like on his last athletic leg, I thought, I don't think he wants to talk to me. He probably doesn't. I think he just wants to go on and do his own thing. And I'm really actually glad he's landed with like HQ the way he has. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. I remember talking to him. He's really honest and just a really great guy to talk to.
It's funny, the decision day match in Orlando, because, you know, with that being literally his backyard, or his family's backyard, I was there for the decision day match. That was a wild day. But when I got there, it was funny because we're in the press box. I'm like looking down, and there's like a row of like redheaded people. and so I turned to one of the Atlanta comms people, and I was like, out of curiosity, I'm sure, because this very well, I think we all kind of believed that was going to be Atlanta's final game of the season, because they had so much stuff that had to happen to make it in. And so I was like, surely, you know, he had family come out to support him. And they were like, yeah, he's got like 32 people here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, they showed out really well for him. It was cool.
I love that. That's how I feel. This is unrelated to what we're talking about, but that's how I felt watching all of the Angel City stuff coming out with both Kristen Press and Allie Riley retiring yesterday. I think that I feel emotionally connected to men's soccer because it held the place that like a college football affiliation would hold for me. And you may or may not know, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, that I went to Wesleyan College down in Macon. So women's college, I'm connected to them, but there's no college football affiliation, no like sport that feels like it's mine. But I played soccer there, and I grew up playing soccer. And there was a time where there were like very few women to look up to. And now it's like, not only are there plenty of these trailblazers, but they all have contributed in their own unique way. Like what Alex Morgan did, and Rapinoe did, what Chris and Press did, very different for the sport, both on and off the field. So yeah, it made me, I was like, oh, I feel like a part of it. Yeah, it's kind of like the way with every big athlete or every athlete we've ever cared about leaving the sport. It's in that moment where you're like, wait, it's over. It's all over. So that, and I feel like those moments they're always so weird when they happen at a time where everything else around you sucks, which is what was on my mind for Brad Guzan. And Angel City, they're not doing well this year, but it's like, well, that doesn't stop you from all celebrating what was, but unfortunately you don't have the algorithm doing the work for you of like giving you your honors, which I think MLS right now in their obsession with Inter Miami and Messi and like trying to be this world-class league, they're not doing a very good job of highlighting some of these players that are announcing their retirement. And I'm going to name two specifically. Maxi Urruti jumped around to like half a dozen MLS teams and was like a guy we showed highlights of often in the 2010s. I didn't see any big send-off for him. Felipe Martins, who played for Red Bull, played for, I think Orlando was the last team he played for. He even tweeted, he was like, I gave my entire career to this league. I've played for 7 or 8 teams, like, and I'm gone and I got nothing, which stinks. And I'm trying to think of who else that could possibly happen to. I'm sure there will be others.
I forget his name, but there's which is maybe not the best way to lead into that conversation, considering a guy in Nashville who was playing for Nashville when they were still in USL.
Taylor Washington,
and then he retired. Well, I guess technically not yet, but they did his whole ceremony at Nashville, which was cool. But yeah, I mean, it's really been this year. It's really been a lot about Nagby and Brad,
Yeah.
So, but I would like you said, I would like to see them all kind of get their flowers, especially for guys like you said that have been here forever. They've put their lifers in MLS essentially.
Yeah, you know what? Once we hop off at some point, I'm going to come up with a list of like 12 dudes. I actually, speaking of Colorado, to bring this all full circle, no one ever wanted to talk about. Okay, here, actually, great point. We would not be talking about the Colorado Rapids if not for freaking Chris Harmas's like little tiny little tantrum.
Yeah.
A lot more over a lot less. But I remember a couple years ago when the Rapids came to play at DC. And team morale was just awful. You could see it. You could feel it. I have a friend who does radio for them. His name is Connor, great guy. And I had asked Connor, like, who team do you think would be worth to right now? And he's like, well, they're all kind of in a bad mood, but you should reach out to our comms and ask anyway. And at that point, Giassi Zardes was with them. And that's who I had reached out to, was to speak to Giassi. And I'm so well researched for my conversations. And I had done so much research on him and also just knew about him because I'm the like MLSers and the USMNT type gal. And that morning he was like, I don't want to do it. And I thought, are you kidding me? Like, I washed my hair for this. I had shown up to like the Marriott or whatever that they stay in over on the wharf. And so I walked in and I turned to the comms guy and I'm like, do you have anybody else? Like literally, just at this point, send me anything. I've done enough research. I could probably talk to anyone. I've been a fan of this league long enough. I could talk to anyone. And so they gave me Drew Moore, who at that point was not a starter. He had won the cup with Toronto, like 2016, 2017, another team that had a hot couple years and now is struggling. But he wasn't getting minutes. And he was happy to chat. We ended up talking for like 45 minutes. It's one of my favorite conversations that I've posted as like a podcast and on YouTube. But he was like really appreciative of the level of effort that I made to just talk about the time in the league where dudes really were schlepping. When they were taking commercial flights, when I, as a like mid-level congressional employee, was making a better salary than half the dudes on the team, when the concept of someone like Messi coming was not, I mean, David Beckham was there, but it was just it felt so separate of what so many of these other teams were able to afford or even accomplish. And I think that conversation has kept me on alert for these guys that are walking away and ending a career that started in a really, really crappy place. And Brad Guzan is one of those guys. Even when you said his salary, I'm like, that's all? I just assumed he would have like been more done, like gotten more, or I mean, being a goalkeeper is tough, but yeah, this league is weird. And I just wish it would acknowledge that it's not that far removed from that time, you know? So
Yeah. Hopefully 2026 with the World Cup can kind of help them. They can kind of capitalize on the momentum of it. I haven't seen any indications that it will, but hopefully they'll do something to hopefully they do something to kind of build on that. I mean, they have
they're
to,
definitely, right? They're definitely not going to be playing games.
Yeah.
When I look at, I love the direction that we're headed with the Apple removing restrictions for playoff games.
Yeah.
I wish they would be more transparent about their numbers. And I wish that we would do more than just allow these like FIFA host city committees to be generating excitement. I just don't see any overlap at all.
Yeah. It's worrying. It's worrying, especially relatively close to the World Cup. I mean, it'll be here before you know it. And like you said, I haven't noticed any overlap either of MLS and US soccer. Even Atlanta United's done a little bit, promoting on their socials saying, hey, the World Cup is coming, 1 year out and stuff like that. But I would love to see more overlap between MLS and not just host city teams, but teams really all over the league to talk about this a little bit more.
I think we have a great couple of comments here if you want to get Hi guys, welcome to my podcast. I'm so sorry. I'm very hyper aware of how much I'm talking. I cannot emphasize enough just how excited I am to just be sitting here and chatting. So
No, absolutely. And we're obviously a Atlanta United podcast. We talk MLS,
sure.
Of course, but you can sort of see in the chat just the disappointment, the disillusionment, anger about how the season has gone, and really not just how it's gone this year, but in the past few years. They snuck into the playoffs last year, of course, but they still played lower than their expectations. 2023, they got knocked out first round by Columbus. 2022, pretty much everybody was injured. 2021, they've been bad or mediocre longer than they've been good, and that's a problem for a club that's always said we have sky high ambitions. We want to be one of the best clubs in the world. And we talk about Atlanta, we talk about DC. Is a club that's won 4 MLS Cups in the past, right? One of the charter clubs, one of the proud clubs of MLS. Now look where they are, 6 years in a row without playoffs. Colorado Rapids, another team that's been in existence for a while. Kansas City, another team that's been in existence, I believe, another charter club. And you can just go on down the line. Red Bulls missing playoffs. It's just, you talk about parity, and I think clubs need to take advantage of that parity. It can work in a negative fashion because LA Red Bulls both missing the playoffs a year after they're both in MLS Cup.
Yeah.
So parity can work both ways. It can work in the positive fashion, but it can also work in a negative fashion, and you need to take advantage of it. And I feel like roster rules kind of handcuffs teams from doing that. But hopefully we get to a point from a roster building standpoint where teams aren't shackled and tied down as much as they are today.
I agree.
Yeah.
Should we get into the playoffs?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I was just about to throw that out there.
I'm sorry.
I want your
sorry.
No, this is good because
it's done.
This we knew we get like a cadence right during the preseason or during the season because we're doing MLS Monday, and there's always something to talk about. Like there's always some drama or there's like a beat down or whatever, and then it's like decision day happens, and for other leagues that's the end. But then it's like for us, then we have to transition
for MLS.
we have to be like, all right, well, cool. That's over with. It was cool, but like now it's a whole different season essentially for the next month.
Nashville and Miami are about to play 3 freaking times when previously the Nashville probably spent the entirety of their season going, guys, on this day we are playing Messi and Miami. Get your tickets now. And now they're like, okay, so we're going to have a slew of opportunities for you to watch your favorite team be matched up with these guys. It's just it's like it's too much. I just think it's too much. But I do have predictions. I want to hear y'all's first, or I want to hear what you're thinking.
Did you already do your bracket challenge?
No, not yet. But I did get targeted ads from everyone on the MLS broadcast for it, and each single, literally every single targeted ad had the millennial pause in it. I was like, I can't. that like look. Do your bracket challenge. I was like, I can't. I would have scrolled away if I didn't already know. If I didn't already assume Kalen Kyle needed this bag, you know?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But as far as like the final is concerned, I hate to say the inevitability of LAFC might be there, but I'm praying it will be Vancouver. Praying to God. I would give anything.
That would be a nice story for sure. I mean, I had. I don't know if Sydney and Tyler have done theirs yet, but
I'm ready for show and tell. I've got mine.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Please, yeah.
So, hold on.
Tell me to shut up.
So, I had in my final, I had LAFC Miami. That's what I had. Yeah, go ahead and boo me. Yeah, I got the big names in there.
I didn't do my bracket because I was waiting for the wild card matches. I wanted to see how those play out first. So I was gonna kind of hit. I thought we were doing like a playoff special, guys, on later this week before the actual playoffs start after the wild card round. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what, save yourself for that then, because I am not an expert. I will say my biggest gripe, like I said, about living in the van is I've watched so much less soccer. And at one point I went on a rant on my Instagram earlier in the summer that going into bars and asking for MLS to be put on is it's a humiliation ritual. It is so embarrassing to ask if they have the package, to then sit and be like, yeah, let me check, like maybe. And the running joke is already that no bar knows how to use their remote. But then trying to say, they're like, who? And you're like, Portland Timbers. It could be either Portland or Timbers, or Portland Timbers. And they're like, on what? And like, well, it's technically MLS season pass, but you should have the DirecTV package. Okay, what channel? I don't know. I don't even know what city I'm in. And they're like, okay, so neither of the teams that are playing are in this city. Why should we care? I'm like, because I live in a van and I don't want to use my hotspot. And I already bought a drink to sit down and patron your restaurant. There's no one else there. Just let me put it on, or at least let me get your Wi-Fi password so I can watch it on my iPad, please. And at that point, I'm just like on the verge of tears because, wherever I am, I circled the block over and over looking for parking. And I'm going to the one place that some of my DMs recommended as the place to go to find out it's a freaking Irish pub. And the like bar is sticky, and they say it's the best place to watch soccer, but they didn't specify that what they mean by that is it's the best place to watch football at 9:00 in the morning, and that American soccer will not be shown there. And if I get one more recommendation for GD Fidos, I'm going to lose my mind. There's a Fidos in every city across the land. They're all the same. They all smell, and they're all boring. I know I've spent many a time at the Fidos in Atlanta. You could not pay me to go there again.
Here it's the Brew House. That's if I'm gonna go.
Oh, I love Brew House. Okay.
Brew House is where it's at. No offense, Fidos, but the Brew House is where it's at. Like they do the Boxing Day stuff, and like that memories like go on my kids, and like they have like the fires going. You're sitting there at like a ridiculous time in the morning drinking mimosas, but it's fun. It's enjoyable.
It's still for football.
Yeah.
Football. It's not for soccer. That's my gripe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since y'all all shared y'all's,
we can
do the show and tell we can do on the
this
special.
This is the teaser. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I've already been made fun of doing our live show at the hotel the other day. So laugh. But Brett said it in the chat. He got part of it right. But it's going to be Cincinnati versus San Diego.
I don't trust Cincinnati. I mean, I trust LAFC.
And that's exactly why it's going to happen.
I don't know.
Cincinnati versus San Diego, and that would mean San Diego would host, right? Is that where the points are at?
San Diego or San Diego or LAFC?
Wait. What are we talking about?
I'm saying if it were a final between because I do not want to add any more to my hotspot right now. You guys know I'm new and the connection's been fine. But points wise, if it was San Diego, Cincinnati, San Diego would host, right?
Cincinnati
has
65.
No way.
San Diego has 63, so it would be
Cincinnati. Yes, hell yes. This entire time I'm like, no matter what happens, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the East Coast, which I need it to be because I'm not about to drive anywhere that far to go watch the final. But oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I could do that.
There you go.
Definitely doable.
Take that one for free. That's exactly what it's going to be.
That seems why not?
Anybody's game.
Yeah,
I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean because if you are right, I don't want you to rehash this part of the live and share it, and then people go like, "Who's that ugly weirdo telling you you're wrong?" Where is she?
I'm not going to be the guy that's going to bring the receipts, though. People will.
Why not?
Bring them to me.
Oh, yeah.
Some people.
You suck.
What did I do?
Oh, I was about to say, well, they have nothing else, and then you pointed to them. I was like, oh no. Anyone else who gives you a hard time online, it's because I'm always like, they have nothing else to do.
Yeah,
that is very true.
But I also read through literally every tweet about the Chris Armas situation, so the same could be said about me. Sydney, what do you got?
Gosh. I think LAFC in the West will make it out of the West because Son Bwanga have been on an absolute tear. So I have them coming out of the West and out of the East. I don't want to say Miami. I really don't want to say Miami. I feel like, I guess my better judgment, I'm going to say Philadelphia because, I kind of tempted to not say Philadelphia at the same time because they've been crap against teams above the playoff line and just feasting on teams below the playoff line for the most part. But I do think Philadelphia is going to come out of the East. So LAC Philadelphia final. I think LAFC is going to win it and send Steve Cherundolo off in style because this is his last year, as you all remember, and I think that'll give them a little bit more motivation to send them off on a high note. So I see an LAFC Philadelphia final, and then LAFC getting it done on the road because they'll have to go to I forget what it's called.
Subaru Park.
Yeah,
in Chester. Have you guys ever been there?
I have, and the stadium is great. The view of the Delaware River is great. Unfortunately, the area around it is a dump, and I know they've made a lot of promises. We want to improve the area. At last check, I hadn't done it, or they hadn't done it, so I don't know what it's like. I think like 7-8 years since I was in Philly. So, yeah, it's pretty disappointing. It's a great stadium and a bad part of town, really. So
it's tough because I respect the gamble of putting it in a place where they want to do an economic revitalization, but I think it hit about the same time that we were reeling from the recession.
Yep.
I don't know that anyone cares to do much in Chester now. So
yeah, I mean, there's a casino, but outside of that, unfortunately, plus it's tough to get to. I don't think the SEPTA goes out there at last check, so it's tough to get to, which is another downside.
Yeah, even Amtrak, I remember, because that's the relationship I have with Love everyone in Sons of Ben. They recently founding member of their supporters group passed away suddenly, and they've all been dealing with that. It's been difficult, but he got a chance to have a moment with the supporters shield. They're a very tight-knit community, and I don't know as if they've been growing much over the years, but I do know that they've just been keeping it real and supporting Philly appropriately as they've gotten better and better over the years. This is something I've experienced firsthand because ever since 2019, when DC United was not making the playoffs, I was like, oh, I'll just drive up to Chester. It's south of the city, so it's like right at 2 hours, super easy. And I tried at one point to get Amtrak up there because that northeast corridor, like DC to Boston, is so perfect. But Chester's just enough out of the way that you're like, oh, I could take a $40 Amtrak and then a $40 Uber and then a $40 Uber back and then a $40 Amtrak home. I was like, at that point, I'd rather just sit in my own car and listen to my own tunes. But yeah, I think I actually would love for a rematch of that MLS Cup because for all the things that have been said and noticed by anyone who experiences an LAFC home game, I feel like California boys could use some like Philadelphia fan, not, well, I was about to say aura, but I feel like they could use that experience, and I feel like it would severely impact how they play. No, I feel like in the postseason, besides, of course, them all suffering from COVID and NYCFC beating them, which would not have happened otherwise, I don't think. NYCFC would not have gotten that MLS Cup had everyone been healthy. But it's like there are 7-year-olds yelling "fuck you," like just fingers up. Pardon, I'm just quoting. I'm
That's
quoting
Philly,
another.
so I believe it.
I'm quoting another one of God's children. But that to me, I'm like that
They
will
boo
rattle
Santa
you
Claus.
after a while. Yeah. Wait, okay, I would go for that. Would you guys attempt a trek to Philly if that were the case, or would you go to an MLS Cup at all, or are you kind of like, it's not, I don't care?
Tyler and Tommy went when it was in Columbus.
Columbus,
several years ago.
We ran into you there.
We hung out,
Yeah.
That was also great. That LAFC was so muted at that game too.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was looking at the points, and if Charlotte makes it to the final out of the East, and if San Diego, Vancouver, or LAFC do not make it, MLS Cup will be at Bank of America Stadium by virtue of the fact that Charlotte would have the most points out of any teams in the West outside of the three I mentioned. So kind of hoping that they make it for that reason, but I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think their offense has been their offense definitely hasn't been cutting it for the last few weeks, but I just don't think their offense is gonna do anything for them in the playoffs.
Zaha is out for match 1 because he got a stupid red card toward the end. I mean, he hit out at a player and got sent off. So
you didn't see?
He's out for game 1. Yeah.
Wait, who did they play?
They played Philly.
Jesus Bueno was kind of like they were kind of talking. I think he must have said something, but Zaha literally just like bam into his face.
Dumb red card. He got sent off on the spot. So.
That is
look it up. There's videos everywhere.
Yeah.
No, that is so on brand for him.
It really is. It really is.
So
wait, you okay?
That you haven't seen it and you say that.
I was actually I looked at the chat. I think someone had mentioned something about Zaha as I was joining earlier. I will say the beauty of this journey is, whereas living in DC and having a full-time job, having the money to travel, I was going on weekend trips. I was flying in on Friday night. I was picking like a class pass gym studio to go do like Pilates at, picking a cute little breakfast place, doing pregame, going to the game, waking up on Sunday, and then going home. That was the extent of my interaction with the city. And I am pretty well traveled across the states just by nature of the work I was doing campaigning. But I'm really taking my time with places. I was in Charlotte for the entire month of April. I ended up seeing 3 games of theirs. And the entire time I was like, this guy, I give him the benefit because, statistically, it's really hard for these players that come from Europe to adjust to the MLS schedule. It like takes them a season before they really get into it. But he couldn't struggle with his head down. He like had to squeal about every little thing. He always posted on his story afterwards if things went wrong. I always saw him getting mouthy. He was always one of those like, I'm about to literally punch my fist into the ground because I missed this pass or missed this shot on goal, whatever. And I feel like you're not going to be successful if he's not in a good mood, and if he's not even there, if he's like literally eliminating himself from contention. What is even the point of that? If I were his team, surely Tim Ream has been. Somebody has to have talked. Is anybody talking to him?
I
That question's rhetorical.
No, yeah, no, for sure. I remember
Yeah.
I was covering the Atlanta Charlotte match. I was up there a few months ago, and he was getting into it with Matt Edwards, Tyler, and Henry. You guys remember Matt Edwards? He and Matt Edwards got kind of face to face with each other, jawing at each other. But I mean, good on Matt for standing his ground against Zaha in that moment. But
Yeah.
that's just the type of
Yeah.
player he is. Just his style of play and just the edge that he plays with. I will say this about Charlotte. I lived there for 5 years, just north of the city. It's great
Oh, no way.
place, great city.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time there. It has that small town feel to it that Atlanta doesn't really have, but at the
Yes.
same time, I really enjoyed my time up there in Charlotte.
Population wise, I know I've looked it up several times because my whole dad's side of the family is from North Carolina, but Charlotte, we just never went that far west. They are all like Raleigh, Wilmington, Southport, whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember the first couple of days I was like, wait, this is cute. Where have I been? Where has Charlotte been? And then like hung around. Everyone's talking point was it was like a charming city that was just slept on. And I was like, well, I thought that's what Asheville was. So how are you this big with this much going on? And that's how my relationship with Continental started, because they're like, oh, we're based in Charlotte. And I was going to these games going like, holy mackerel, this many people are filling out a football stadium, and the football stadium's right downtown. And yeah, it's a puzzler. I don't think they're going to perform in the playoffs though. If they went far, it would be luck, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think. The way I see it is, 3-game series, those are always going to be tough. But then when you get to knockout stages, one mistake can spoil your entire match and your season. So I think if they get past New York City, they could have a chance, but that's a big if. The way that Alonso Martinez is playing, the way that Fernandez, McCall, I think it is, Henry, that you've spoken about, he's kind of rejuvenated the team. So I feel like that's going to be tough for Charlotte to get past. And then again, Zaha is missing that match one. You have to get that red card. So it might be a bit of a tough ask for them, but I think if they get out, that they could stand half a chance.
I don't know. They're also, you didn't include
disagree.
this, they're playing on a baseball field.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Not for long.
Not for
Right.
long.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's New York City's superpower.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to go play there. So you're going to at least have that moment where you're going to have to deal with that. So I don't know. I just don't think they make it out.
Yep.
That's my other teaser. They don't make it out in my in my bracket.
Interesting.
Bulletin board material.
Do we think that Chicago and Orlando, who do you think is going to win that game?
Yeah, I was looking at that. Orlando just a really bad result against TFC. It's been a string of disappointing results for Orlando.
Orlando lost to Toronto in their very first game of the season that same exact way.
Yeah, I did see
like
that.
4-2 or something.
Yeah.
Was it Toronto? Or maybe it was the same scoreline, but the opposite result. I remember being there. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I kicked off my season, but I don't remember exactly what happened. I only know I was excited to write in my journal that I got to see 6 goals scored. So
yeah,
it's great for my average.
No, for sure. But no, first off, shout out to Chicago making the playoffs and Greg Berhalter's first season there. They've been waiting for that for a long time. Orlando, I feel like they were top 4 at some point, and then I think they were coming off a 5-match winning streak or something like that, but then they've got winless in 4. They're now in the play-in game or the wild card match against Chicago. I think Chicago will win that one. I think Chicago are just a team that are more informed. I haven't seen their most recent schedule. I don't know, Henry and Tyler, if you've seen it, but yeah, I'm just pulling it up right now. So
I watched them score Chicago. At the Revs.
Yeah.
Although
Chicago. 5 unbeaten. Chicago's 5 unbeaten. Orlando's winless in their last 4. So
No
I feel
way.
like Chicago. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good
feel
for
like-
Greg.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Sort of a redemption project for Greg Berhalter, I feel like, after the missed national team. But no, I think Chicago is going to beat Orlando. They have, of course, all to do against Philadelphia. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they could spring a dust. I think Chicago's going to win that one.
You got to take it game by game. So
yeah,
Chicago is going to be playing at home. You know, a lot of their pieces have worked very, very well this season. Philip Zinkernagel has been an absolutely amazing signing. So yeah, I mean, I think they have. For me, I think that they take the wild card game, and against Philadelphia, that'll just be something that you'll have to watch. And honestly, who knows how that goes? But if they can resist and kind of just not leave themselves exposed at the back, I could see them pulling through a win there.
Saw Chris Brady though gave up a howler of a goal. I think I was watching. I think it was Brady who started in goal, right, for Chicago on Saturday.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But he just let in the howler, I think, early on. But yeah, I mean, I think Chicago's winning it either way. Yeah,
it was actually almost as or slightly quicker than the first goal down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It was one of those like, oh, had I not gotten here early. I mean, I think most of the people that were trickling into the stadium definitely missed it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, at that point, y'all, just let Chicago win. You're already eliminated.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
That's how I was the entire time. I was like, I'm never like really rooting for someone ahead of time. I just kind of pick, or obviously I was like sitting in a suite, given a ticket by someone who worked for the Revs, so I had to be a little bit respectful. But at the same time, I was like, come on. Chicago's actually fighting for something here. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of goalkeeper howlers, did you see the Lloris one? Hugo Lloris's howler? Yeah, it was.
Send me a link.
Man.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. There's a video somewhere, but he got they were taking a goal kick basically, and it was the center back taking the goal kick, takes it short, passes it back to Lloris, and then I don't remember who it was, but they just came barreling in.
It was Paxton Aronson.
And Lloris is trying to get it away.
Oh,
and then,
yes.
Aronson blocks it, and then it goes into the net.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Hell yeah. For
a goalkeeper's experience as him.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone. As we say in Spanish, even doctors die. That's very dark.
No. What is it? Tell me.
It's even doctors die.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Which is very dark, but hey, it's a thing that we say. Apparently.
Morbid, but true.
I gotta say, I'm not gonna say love. It just is what it is. I think about death all the time, and especially during COVID, I think the conversation about death was ubiquitous, or just the concept of death was linked. And I got into a kind of bad habit. It really depends on who I'm talking to, on how it's perceived. But whenever I am on the road now, and people say, "Hey, how you doing?" Which is just they're never really asking for an answer. I'll just say, "I'm alive," and then they'll go "Oh, I guess that's a good thing," and then I'll say, "I don't know," and I love it because you can tell who has a good sense of humor about death, which I think we all should. But yeah, even doctors do die. That's where, you know what, to bring a great long-term perspective about it. That's why in participating in the sport or with the sport or engaging with it the way that I do, I really don't get as spun up about things as I find other people do. And what I've noticed in this era of sports is that the emotional charge is coming from a place where people have not just bought in and bought tickets to a game. And they're like, well, I went to a game. I want to have time. This is the team I have some tickets for. It's because there's such a growing problem with gambling, and people are putting their livelihoods on the line, and they're developing an addiction to something that involves human performance, and that I am really, really scared about. Not to take it to a completely different place, but that is actually something that's been on my mind a lot and that I think needs to be discussed more. I hate that they're putting these like sports betting books. Audi Field has one. Why? Literally why? I hate that they're doing it. And I remember even a couple years ago before there was one there and I wanted to like play around with FanDuel. By the way, I'm terrified of gambling. I would drive into Virginia and be like, I think, and the odds were so stupid because they don't pay any attention to how like soccer really works or like how these things should be calculated. So it would say like plus 800 for Zlatan to score a goal, but it just so happened that like Zlatan was out refusing to play on turf the week before. So they're like, well, statistically, and you're like, that's stupid. I'm gonna put, and I would put like $2 on it. Like, but that's the people are not gambling that way. They're gambling with like their children's college funds and taking it out on the women around them physically. That's where I'm like, I want us to be chill about everything and recognize like the way that we can really tell teams we don't care is to just stop showing up. But when we're engaging with it like that, I'm like, oh, that makes me scared. So
no, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely slippery. Definitely slippery slope. I agree.
No, read that comment. Read it.
I agree with you.
No,
Colombian player getting shot after scoring an goal in the World Cup '94.
He's wrong because he put Colombia with a U and not Columbia with an O. Excuse me.
I take that personally.
Excuse me. That is some.
Spell it right. Arpawaki.
That's not real. So
pissed
that's
off
just
Henry.
a fairy tale.
They're talking about Colombia, the city.
Right.
Yeah, Colombia, South
Carolina. But no, that comment is referencing Andres Escobar, which is it's unfortunate that happened. But I don't know if it was exactly it. It wasn't exactly because of sports betting. It was more just because Colombia was in a very messed up state of the Pablo Escobar times, and that was just a terrible time for the nation and for the city where my family's from, Medellin, which is a beautiful city, by the way. And
my gosh,
it's unfortunately tied to such a terrible person.
Yeah.
I'm going to step in and say something on your behalf that I literally want to preach at everyone when I talk about Colombia. Like when I talk to my fellow white about Colombia, the jokes about Pablo Escobar and that era of the country's like politics and culture and just general safety, it's all fine to talk about, to acknowledge existed, to make entertainment about on that Netflix show. I went there to Medellin a couple years ago, and the amount of I went there and I was like, this is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been in. They have so many freaking holidays and will shut down and like blocks on blocks on blocks for people to enjoy the green space, to be open and to just like go about their day in the calmest way. I hated having to like push back on the narrative when I'm coming back to freaking, imagine me driving around in Chester and being like, oh, Colombia's a shithole. Like, but we in Pennsylvania, I'm like, I'm driving on a dirt road to go to a professional sports game right now. Are you kidding me? Actually, like narratives are all fine, but anyone about Colombia is so outdated. I highly, highly, highly encourage anyone who looks like me to take a beat and go and also engage with their national team, because I know that they're getting better and more fun to engage with, obviously making it to the
Copa America final.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
I
went, and all I remember from that day was Carol G. I don't care about anything else. But yeah, oh my gosh, I totally get that. I cannot even imagine the conversations that you've had to have about that. But bless America, I think we forget about everywhere else in the world but ourselves. So
yeah, one of our folks that watches the show and interacts, he's in our Discord, our Patreon. Plug patreon.com/Stars and Spikes. There we go. But no, he actually, it's funny. So it's so strange. He lives in Washington State. and he's married. His wife is Colombian, but they are in Colombia quite often, and he'll send pictures. Henry sends pictures like when he's down there for the holidays. And it was so interesting. Actually, Henry doesn't know this yet. He's about to find out. I talked about him a couple of days ago. We had like a homeschooling event, and we had like a bunch of new families that came in, and there is a guy. He is from Medellin as well, and so I was like, hey, I know a guy. I know a couple of guys.
Yeah.
And they love it. It's the most beautiful place. I've only seen pictures, but it's the most beautiful place.
It's so gorgeous.
It's awesome.
I'm annoyed because I think we're in an era, this is the only thing I'll say on the political side, but we're in an era where a lot of assumptions are being established and peddled about what the rest of the world is like. And I just have this sinking fear that all of the people traveling over here for the World Cup are going to be like, how are you talking about us like this? How, like, the amount of fruits that are just plentiful, that are so delicious, that are just available in every other country, and here we are like growing avocados in the tiniest little sliver of California from Mexico and everywhere else. I remember when I was in Qatar, I went to lunch with a couple of Atlanta United fans ahead of a game. Qatar was obviously auto qualified for the World Cup. They're qualified for the World Cup now. And we were in this mall, and there was a group of like 5 women completely covered. And I'm sitting there with my 2 guy friends, and our server comes over and was like, those ladies paid for your dinner. And we look over, and they had written a note to give to us, and it just said, welcome to our country. We hope you have a good time. And I thought it was so sweet. They were just excited to host. They were excited that people were engaging with their culture. I know Qatar had its own thing, but I'm sitting here going like, yeah, and when people get to America, everyone's worried that they're going to have like slurs hurled at them or to be treated like second-class citizens. The people that are traveling for the World Cup in the first place are the kind of people that could afford to do a lot more than most of us. So I think about that a lot. And that's my trip to Medellin. I dated an expat for a hot second that lives down there, and it's definitely a part of the problem that I know they're experiencing in Mexico City and some other spots. But I was like, oh, no wonder you live here. No wonder. So,
have you ever been to Medellin in the holiday season? Because it's beautiful around Christmas time.
That's what I did. December 27th to like January 7th. New Year's, my birthday. Like, oh my gosh! And I'm sure I seem adventurous living in a van and doing my own thing, but I'm so like socially. I could never be on the level of anyone from South America. I feel like their ability to just exist in their space and have a good time and be welcoming and open to whatever's in front of them. I'm like, okay, well, what time are we going to get there? And what are the coordinates and shoes that are comfortable for dancing or comfortable for walking? Or are we going to be sitting? Do I need to bring the sweatshirt? And everyone else is like, girl, let it go. We're going out. That's all you need to know. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. I don't have that like fun-loving free spirit that I feel like so many of them do.
Yeah, I'd love to go down there at some point, Colombia, check it out. I think Henry, I've told you, but yeah, sounds like definitely a destination that I should go to in the future. Medellin, Cali, Bogota, wherever. But yeah,
you guys should do scarves and spikes on the road.
Yeah, maybe doing the way days next year in 2026.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
Stay tuned.
Some club games,
No, absolutely. Stay tuned. Other wild card match, of course, Portland RSL, and Portland have been, just a crap show. I feel like over the past few weeks. At least we know what Phil Neville's feelings about the wild card match are in the first place. He said it last year. RSL, of course, getting in last day via that draw against St. Louis, and then Rapids drawing LAFC. That's what got RSL in. So I would venture to say that RSL will win that one. I think, if nothing more than vibes, I see Henry kind of making a face over
I'm not
there.
sure
But
about it.
penalties, maybe, I don't know. But my thinking is right now, as we sit here, RSL are going to beat Portland. I mean, granted, I know they have to go to Providence Park and all that, but I think that it's definitely RSL's to lose. Portland, I'm sure, are thinking about last year where they just got absolutely played off the pitch at Providence Park. Yeah, demolished. And what was actually an away match for them, because
they were even supposed to play in Providence
couldn't
Park.
Vancouver couldn't play at BC Place, so I had to play at Providence Park as a quote home team. And it just played Portland off the pitch. But
I'll never forget that game.
Yeah, I think RSL are going to win that match to get into, I guess, playoffs proper and play San Diego. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I just remembered that game, the fact that they played in that Portland was in the wild card game last year and wasn't supposed to host and ended up hosting. Yeah, no, I could see it for RSL now. I think the question is where the goals come from, but I mean, if Diego Luna is still, continues the season that he's been having, and maybe the vibes are right, I think that they could definitely pull an upset. Portland's not infallible by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, for sure.
What you got?
Me? That's a great question.
And
I think that
I think me and you got shafted out of our Eastern Conference one, so you can throw that. I think anyway. So throw your Eastern Conference.
I mean, we went on a bit of a tangent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what we do here.
I'm guiding us to corners of sports.
It's great because at
dialogue.
this point you've replaced Tommy, because we'll go off, into left field, but it's fun. We just have a good time with it.
Yeah. It's tough. I could see Portland losing at home. I think after the beating they just took, I don't think that they want to let that happen again. I don't know how RSL has been doing on the road this year, but I could see Portland eking it out for that game specifically.
RSL terrible on the road, 3-10-4 to your point. Sorry, 3-10-4 RSL. Yeah.
Well, and have any of you been to Providence Park?
No.
Man,
only seen it from the outside.
Yank those scarves off the wall and let them move to the West Coast. I love how you guys haven't been. You have a I was about to say, you don't have a life that allows you to just ditch it all and live in a van. No, actually, the first game I saw at Providence Park was way back in 20.
My water bottle just dropped. I'm okay. Sorry. I'm okay. I went to grab it. It just slipped out of my hand. So
it's thirsty. I think not. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't make a louder
His face
noise.
is so funny when that happened.
Nothing spilled out.
Could someone clip his face when that happened?
Please. And it'll be me mid tangent. I do think Providence Park is actually a pretty intimidating place to play. Generally,
the guy, I would like to think they'll get out. So.
Yeah, but it's also in a granola way. So
controlled environment. So
yeah. Man, as far as the East is concerned, I do think it could be. I do think New York could make it happen to go to the final. I think it's going to be Philadelphia again. I want it to be Philadelphia. I want it to be Philadelphia, Vancouver, or Philadelphia, San Diego. Did you guys ever discuss Olivier Giroud's weird, tiny little spell here?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we did. I'm sorry.
You discussed it.
Yeah,
I think it's so interesting. I'm just following the mental thread, going down the rabbit hole here, but I would just feel like it would be so interesting to have LAFC win their cup with what's that guy's name that came and played from the Welsh guy from Tottenham?
Oh, Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale. God, every name, everything is just blending together. I don't pay attention to Premier League at all, but it was so interesting to see the way he contributed to their final. Just like, oh yeah, I'm going to show up in stoppage time and then contribute with a PK. But imagine being at LAFC and having Olivier Giroud and then them just being like, yeah, this is not working out. And then Sonny just coming in and it immediately clicking.
Yeah, that's
a
great story. One of the best stories
of the year,
I think. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, then I'm also like, wait, but if I'm annoyed at Miami for the star power that's needlessly propelling them to places I don't think they deserve, why am I not mad at LAFC for that? I guess they've never gotten in trouble for breaking roster rules.
Right.
LAFC's not getting shoved in your face every.
That's true. Even when they weren't really.
Yeah. Not to that degree. I mean, because Atlanta was the same way. I mean, we know from the opposite side, Atlanta was for a while the most hated team in Major League Soccer. And
it's okay because we're Atlanta fans. So
I read that. I read that Portland Timbers dossier about how you guys weren't doing culture right.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what? I will say, I think the reason why this Miami thing is particularly annoying to me, you guys have had Jake Ziven on, right?
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of times.
I tune in a good bit, not as much as I would like, but I really do like the work that you guys do here. I should have started with all of that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I remember before the MLS or the Apple TV broadcast how Jake and Taylor used to just get their schedule for the year, and when LAFC and Philadelphia had the MLS Cup the following year, they're like, oh yeah, so when the LAFC and Philadelphia game comes up, that's the game that you guys are going to go to. That'll be the primetime game. But then when you have a league that has this much parity, you show up to that game and you're like, oh, half the dudes are injured. Actually, they're not performing that well. Actually, they're experiencing the same thing that always happens to teams that win MLS Cup, is that they just get overloaded with their front end with like CONCACAF Champions Cup and then Open Cup and all this other stuff. So like, yeah, it's actually kind of boring. Well, when Apple came around, I use Jake and Taylor as the example. They're like the duo. They get sent to every big game. Yeah. We used to joke with Jake in our group chat, like, are you guys tired? Like, where are you following Messi to this weekend? It was because every couple of weeks they'd get their schedule. So they were able to tailor the excitement and the momentum in the broadcast. So I just like, I think even if Miami's not doing as well, we're still going to follow him around. Whereas I think any other year it would have been like, well, yeah, we'll also do the New York Derby. We'll also do El Tráfico. We'll also do Hell is Real. And some of that they do, but it still is like just pink is squeezed in every other week, so forced. And the team is so boring, y'all. They really are so boring. I went and saw a Miami game earlier this year. They played Charlotte, and I was like, you guys don't enjoy stringing passes together. You like doing fits and spurts and then doing the thing, like the tricks that you guys are good for. But other than that, you're not playing as a cohesive team. And I don't think that you make any of the young guys better. They just exist around you.
Yes, that's been a
general way. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And where is he now? Somewhere he doesn't. He outkicked his coverage.
Not Parma. I think it's Parma. Yeah, I think it's Parma. He's at right now. Yeah. And Serie A pretty much got pushed out out of Miami. Yeah, he's with Parma. So
good for him.
Kind of speaks to your point. Yeah.
Yeah. Parmesan. Is Parmesan a word? I was like, wait, is Parmesan a word? Parmesan sounds like a drag queen, the best drag queen name. Parmesan.
Parma, Italy, not Parma, Ohio, to be clear.
Is Parmesan cheese from Parma? It has to be, right?
Not.
No? All right.
Well, maybe it is.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how did you say that with such confidence?
while y'all finish, because now I have to know.
Yeah. How long do you guys normally do these for? I was quoted at an hour. I think what you meant was I would do the talking for an hour and then you guys would fill it in.
Just about, yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun. We
Province
really,
of Parma. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. How's it feel to be wrong?
Well, I've been wrong before, so I'm used to it.
Many times.
Wait, what? Are you a cheese? Is anyone here like a cheese guy?
I don't like cheese. I can appreciate cheese, but I'm not like a cheese aficionado.
Not like a cheese connoisseur.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm a connoisseur either, but I go to farmers markets a lot because when you buy produce and other things that haven't been refrigerated, they don't need to be refrigerated. And I don't have a fridge in here. I had a baby Frigidaire that I was like, oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
But I have I haven't even put it away. I'm embarrassed because I was snacking on it before we started. I have the stinkiest freaking cheese that I got from a farmer's market in Providence over the weekend.
Oh, is it Munster at all or no?
Not even close.
I'm not a cheese person. What is it?
You know what? The sticker is a name of something that you wouldn't even be able to guess, but I know it's a hard cheese. And look at this rind.
Yeah,
just moldy AF.
That's
it
old.
Smells like wet dirt.
So appetizing.
Yeah.
So there's a good one.
Yeah.
The cheese tastes great.
Yeah.
Brett's asking to give him all the cheese recommendations. I'll throw this one out there because you said farmers market and it reminded me.
Oh,
a few years ago, we have a really big farmers market here in Atlanta. Well, you probably realized from your time, but the DeKalb, farmers market.
Yeah.
So anyway,
oh my gosh.
So there's a random place that sells cheese and like all kinds of cheese, and they have this one. It's like a smoked, sharp cheddar, but like the smoke is like super intense, and because they smoke it for so long, like that size that you just had there was like $60. And so we were like, can we just buy like a couple of ounces to try it? Like super, super small. And it was some of the best cheese I've ever eaten. So, Brett,
check it
out. You go.
I think it is worth it to splurge on good food. Now, where I differ from where I was previously was I was working a job where like really, really fine dining was by work. So I'm like, oh, of course I'll have the filet. Of course I'll try this like appetizer. Of course I'll have dessert. Yeah. I can't do that now, but there are days when I go to a farmer's market and I will get the weirdest, most obscure produce or just splurge on like something really fresh. Mm-hmm. And it's at that point where I'm like, oh, the grocery store ruined. I don't buy. When I'm home with my parents, I don't even like the eggs that they have at the grocery store. I'm like, we got to go get it from somebody on the side of the road or somebody at a farmer's market, because the difference in taste is insane.
100%. Also check out that DeKalb Farmers Market, by the way, Tyler. So thanks for the for the recommendation.
Literally anything you want in that place.
I'll get some. I'll definitely get some and report back to the chat here. But thanks, Cheyenne, for being with us. We really appreciate having you on the show. I know this is quick.
Do not download a transcript of this conversation, for it will hardly make sense.
Yeah.
Scarves and spikes after dark. Here we go.
Exactly.
This is me. Actually, good conversation. I'm really hoping that the connectivity isn't ruined here, but I'll give you the tiniest little show of a side of the van, and then that we can wrap it there. Let's put these twinkle lights up, and I have scarves from all over, but this is the new women's team in Halifax called the Halifax Tides. There's the literally the NWSL for Canada is in their inaugural season this year, which is crazy. I do still have a DC United scarf. I've made my way around. I've been sitting on what isn't eventually going to be pulled out to sleep in my bed, and this is the absolute monstrosity of things. I'm glad that the lighting's not good, because that's where my cheese is, my my tools, my claw clip, one random avocado I need to do something with because it feels very soft. Yeah, this little existence, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And there's so many times where I've been on the road and have gotten to meet literally the scarves and spikes of every single team. In my mind, I'm like, oh, you look different from your profile photo. But the next thing that I'm thinking is, I'm so glad I get to put a face to a name, that I get to talk to people who are as like weirdly obsessed with the league, which is in and of itself a mental condition. So this was group therapy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm really, really glad that I got to connect with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Really quick too. Because I think now that this has happened and people have kind of seen, where can everybody find you at?
Yeah.
On the road, on God's green earth, and also on social media at BTWN Clean Sheets, and then my YouTube, Between Clean Sheets. Everything's Between Clean Sheets. You'll definitely recognize the logo that I had made.
Nice.
I cut my finger earlier, so I've been just dealing with that. I am camping. I'm living among people. I'm not like in national parks, but I'm still doing the like random cut on your finger. Socks are wet for some reason. You don't know why. And like sleeping in a little cocoon every night. So anyway, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Real quick. Do you have any idea where you're going for the playoffs, or you have to map out?
I don't know. This Copa 90 project is based on 3 cities, none of which are MLS cities. So I'm stuck in the Northeast in Providence, Portland, Burlington for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I would love to catch something, and hand on my heart, hope to die, really hope to die, just like the Dogs. I really want to get to the final. If it's on the East Coast, for sure, I will do my best. But my big bit of news is this year, instead of spending the off season with my parents in Georgia, love them, but I need a break from them. They need a break from me. I am hanging out with my best friend from college who is just moving back from Japan and will be living in Wichita. So I'm going to be in Wichita for the off season, which is kind of whack, but I think it'll give me the opportunity to pick which side of the country to head to come early next year. So,
well, we will be looking forward to your travels, and obviously, if you're in Atlanta, let us know. And
yes, of course. Yeah.
No, but we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. I know I quoted you an hour, but glad we could catch up with you.
Totally fine. I would literally be scrolling my phone, probably watching this with some other guest of yours anyway. So.
No, we appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. I normally close with where you can find Scars and Spikes on social media, but you guys can find us wherever the search X, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, all that good stuff. And yeah, I think that's it. Tyler, have you got anything?
Nope. Just gonna let you know, Cheyenne, this is the
whenever we play the music, it's one of us randomly. Today it was Tyler.
Yeah, it was me.
It just chooses between whoever. The mind of his own.
This time it was very funny. Like, you need to know that.
I thought it was me. I thought it was me this time.
No, it's freaking restream every time. And I was gonna say this is the part where the credits roll, shows our patrons, everything else, and we get off on like a tangent about something random, totally random. And we've talked about cheese, we've talked about Colombia, and then our audio screwed me.
I feel like I already brought that randomness to this entire episode. I derailed, which is a train metaphor, and we should stop using train metaphors until there's more train travel in this country.
Our entire city is based off trains. So
I have a quick request for MLS. Stop putting the first and second rounds on the other side of the international break.
Yes.
You're going to have to wait 2 weeks from the end of one series to the next. Especially if you win in 2 matches, right? You having to sit around and wait, 3 weeks for your next match? I hate
Disgusting.
it. We need to change that. I have to get that out.
That's how the 2021 New England Revolution lost their supporter shield momentum and got eliminated from the playoffs. And maybe that's what Caleb Porter was ranting about.
Man, that's crazy. We're back to Caleb Porter.
No, he's ranting on the unemployment line.
Both my middle fingers are up. You just can't see. No, actually, my hands are on somebody's shoulders in a very ugly way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have officially made it full circle.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you for our Waffle House episode on Wednesday. So that should be fun.